this.
No, those are scissors. You'll hurt yourself. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and everything in between.
Hi guys, we're back.
Yeah,
We're here together.
in the words of the great Kojima, I'm back.
I'm back.
Those were like the only words he said up there.
He said hello, everyone. Also.
Oh,
So we've said everything that Kojima has said. No.
no, we did not say everyone. We said everything.
Okay. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and everything in between.
We're back.
We're back. This is gonna be a nightmare.
How long's it been? Like 2-3 weeks?
6.5 years.
No. YouTube hardly existed then. No, actually, no.
It's been a minute, buddy.
Oh my God, we're old.
Anyway,
I remember the dawn of YouTube with trampoline wrestling videos.
Yeah,
that was the dawn.
Now, this is going to be our TrebleChin Entertainment video review for that hot new release, Finding Dory,
which I have heard, but I am not sure if it has actually topped it. But is like the highest grossing animated film on the first weekend.
Might be
like bigger than Frozen, and that's surprising.
Yeah, well, I think Zootopia beat that already, but
okay. I think then this beats Zootopia.
I think this beats Zootopia, but I haven't looked into that for certain, but I have seen that it broke some records at the box office, which great. Well,
Pixar, but
well, yeah, but let's talk about the movie for a second.
Just to mess with you guys, you probably noticed we're in a different camera angle.
Yeah.
Because we're in my desk area, and
our fucking light broke.
Yeah, that's
so
disappointing.
We're dealing with light from over there, so this looks really bad.
Well, it's not too bad since it's over there and not like on top of us.
It
so
doesn't look as bad as our first video, but it's pretty bad. No,
nothing's as bad as that first video.
But let's talk about the movie for a minute, and I want to get one pathetic nitpick out of the way really quick.
Okay.
The art seems a little dated to me. Like it's not.
What part of the art?
It's not bad. Just like the overall look of it. Like it looks. They tried to make it look like Finding Nemo, and they do a good job of that. But coming with that, it also looks a little old, which probably I wouldn't have noticed as much if I didn't see Piper, the digital short, beforehand. Right beforehand.
We should talk about that as well.
Piper is probably the most beautifully animated thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
Like, the sand, the characters, the water, everything about
the feathers on Piper and his mother.
Everything about that looked so incredible and looked so real, and the whole thing I was looking at it like, if we can do this, why was the Warcraft movie live action? That's the whole thing I was thinking.
The only part of the Piper short that I thought looked a little bit ridiculous was actually the little hermit crabs.
Yeah.
Like
you're right there.
Like their eyes were like too big.
Yeah.
Whenever you look at the other things,
but
and they're all hyper realistic, and then there's this little, "Hello, I'm a hermit crab.
Well, that's just
behold my power of avoiding water."
And that happened a little bit with The Good Dinosaur too, because the environments in The Good Dinosaur look astonishing, and then they put Pixar characters into them. Which was fine. That movie looked really, really good.
Yeah.
But there's a little getting used to there. But Finding Dory just kind of looked like an older movie, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but kind of...
It's a nitpick for you?
Kind of threw me off right off the bat. But
I didn't even really notice that, but I felt like, now that you say it, yes, it definitely looks like Finding Nemo, and it hasn't, like, stepped up its animation, but...
Yeah.
That was kind of good for this movie, because if they changed how that happened, like how the world looks, then it wouldn't have felt like it was a Finding Nemo sequel.
No, I get that. Like, don't change the art style for sure.
Yeah.
Like that's not what I want. Just kind of step it up a little bit, if that makes any sense. Because
I felt they did with some of their stuff, like the
some
water.
Some of it, but definitely not all of it. And that was, I don't know. It was a little bit, because if you look at the difference between Toy Story 2 and Toy Story 3. Like, that is a jarring difference.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, the animation and look of Toy Story 3 is just so much better than...
people looked like people. And not...
People looked like people, but they also kind of got into that cartoony art style that they are known for now.
Well, they didn't look like terrifying monstrosities of evil.
Because
early CG is terrifying.
Well, also I feel like in Toy Story 1 they were trying to go for like a hyper-realistic look. I thought they were trying to make those people look more like real people, and then after they realized they couldn't do that, they found their art style. And
they should have known that when they made that baby.
Yeah, but they found their art style, and that's kind of what we see in Inside Out and Brave and the ones that have people in them.
Yeah.
But no, it's just
except for the Incredibles, they're kind of
that has a
completely
completely different art style. But anyway,
thank you, Brad Bird.
Yeah, that movie is so gorgeous and strange looking.
Yeah.
Like, I love it.
Everything about that movie is gorgeous and strange.
Yeah.
The music, the looks, the plot, the...
Okay, I'm going to go off on a tangent for a minute. I played the Incredibles theme song, like, in band in high school.
Yeah, that was cool.
And that's just... That song is so fun to play. Like, it is just... Especially the bass line, because I play tuba, and that was just a fucking blast. Because it's just... It's just incredible once I finally got the keys down. It was just great. Anyway. But no, that's and just
the beginning.
Yeah. But that's... Anyway,
back to Dory.
I've said anyway 100 times. No, but that's just a small nitpick.
We've got that rust.
Yeah, but that's just a small nitpick because the art looked a little old, which would have bothered me more if the story in this movie wasn't so amazing. Like this movie at its core is a incredibly heartwarming tale about one of Pixar's greatest characters. And the way
ironically beforehand had little backstory, and this whole movie is dedicated why
you always wondered about her though. Like there are those things, like the way she, like when you find out she can read, you're like, why? When she talks about, like,
how does she speak whale?
How does she speak whale? You're like, where did she learn and think that that's what whales talked like? When she says, I have short-term memory loss, don't worry, it runs in my family. At least I think it does. Where are they? And like
I'm Dory.
that's kind of a funny. No, she's like, where are they? Can I help you? But like that's just.
I also did love that in the beginning of this movie they went back to that scene.
Yeah.
That first scene.
Can I help you?
Like, they kind of chopped it up a little bit to
Yeah.
leave some of the other stuff
and
out.
All the lines weren't exactly the same, which I'm probably the only person on the face of the earth that was actually bothered by that. But,
No, I was as well. Like,
Well,
there was more to that. Go back. There was more. Get back here.
yeah. But they're just like, we're focusing on this.
Moving on.
We only have about an hour and a half. Keep moving. But it uses that hour and a half so incredibly well. Like that.
Yeah.
This movie felt like a 2-hour movie in a really, really good way.
Mm-hmm.
Like it uses its time so incredibly well, and it is gorgeous.
Yes.
Like even though it looks a little old, it is beautiful once we get to the new environments.
Well, you see, I think the reason why that the world looks so old is I heard in an interview with the octopus character Hank that they literally spent years trying to animate that.
Yeah.
And it definitely shows, and I think that's why it looks old, because the rest of this movie was probably made years ago, and they were perfecting all of the different little tweaks in Hank and the water to where they look so great.
Yeah. And that's exactly the thing.
We've had this movie in the works for like 8 years or something.
Yeah. And
like, Finding Dory's coming.
That's exactly the thing. Like,
when?
yes, on the surface it does look old, but that animation is just so beautifully crafted. And that is another thing why the look didn't bother me at all.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're Hank, the octopus character, but
so great.
but like everything, he's also one of Pixar's most interesting characters. Like, he is so complex in the way he moves, but also in the way he thinks, and the way he grows to appreciate Dory. Because when he first meets Dory, he tries to take advantage of her disability, and he's annoyed by her, just like about everybody we've come across. Mm-hmm. But seeing the relationship between them
grow as this movie
as the movie progresses and finally come to its beautiful conclusion
twice
is just so
beautiful.
Like, it's just really, really well done. And like at the very beginning of the movie, like at the very beginning we have like the Baby Dory stuff.
Oh my god.
Which set me up for something really, really great. And then once we got back to the present day, I'm like, because the
Baby Dory.
The beginning of the present day stuff felt like just shameless fan servicey stuff for a bit. But they got that out of the way so quickly. Mm-hmm. And then once we get to the
plot.
Once we get to the plot, and once we get to where we're going to spend most of our time in this movie, which is the massive aquarium, the massive California aquarium exhibit thing
and
with Sigourney Weaver.
Yeah. Let me just say that literally some of my favorite parts what about this movie is like Sigourney Weaver is like that narrator in the museum, basically like the museum narrator that you push the button and you listen to what they have to say about these different things.
Yeah.
And so like for the fish, it's like that voice from above.
Yeah.
And like when you first hear it, you hear like, "Hi, I'm Sigourney Weaver," and Dory's like,
"Oh, hello, Sigourney. How are you doing?"
and like is going up towards the light like she's going to heaven.
She's ascend into heaven.
And like all of the like they keep referencing and going back to Sigourney, like that's what Sigourney says, and I don't know why. But, like, out of the 4 people in the room, and the rest of them was a family with a baby.
Yeah.
I was the only person laughing in this entire movie theater.
Yeah.
And
I was
like
I was
all of the
laughing.
little things in this movie are just so great.
Yeah. No, it's an incredibly well crafted, well written, and incredibly heartwarming story. Like,
Yeah.
this movie, like, punched me in the chest
Multiple
at
times.
least 5 times.
All
At
of the Baby
least.
Dory scenes.
All the Baby Dory scenes and some of the later stuff. I don't want to spoil anything. But like, it hits really, really hard. I don't cry at movies. I get close. But I've never gotten close this many times in one film. And that is something truly special. Because Finding Nemo is not my Pixar movie. Like, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it to death. And it's not my least favorite by any stretch of the imagination. It's not even close. Yeah, Cars is my least favorite. But no, it's not my least favorite, and it's not even close. But it's not that thing that brings me all nostalgic. But it made me feel something that I haven't felt before, and I didn't think anything but Toy Story 3 could do that. Because Toy Story 3 hit me right in the gut. Because Toy Story was one of my first movies, and like that first movie came out the year I was born.
Same.
And it just...
Yeah, we both grew up with Toy Story, and
has been
coincidentally, Toy Story 3 came out our senior year.
Yeah.
And so, like, I watched that movie with my mom, and she was crying, and she looked over at me and goes, "That's going to be you in a year."
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
And, like, chills even just, like, for whatever reason, started in the treble. Like, not in the back of the neck, up here and went to the back.
Yeah,
That was weird.
It kicks. But Finding Dory almost kicked harder for some reason. And I don't know why.
Well, it hit hard for me because I had a great aunt who had Alzheimer's. And
that might be it, because my grandmother on my father's side, who has passed now, but she struggled with that for a really long time too. But like, it also had that feeling more so than Finding Nemo did. Like, really, really captured the struggles of being parents of a child with a disability. Especially in one of the Dory flashbacks where she wakes up and her mother's crying. Like, that got to me.
Yeah.
And it's...
And, like, she hears the conversation and...
you know she knows. But at the same time, she doesn't know. And it's just so well done. Like, the look in her eyes,
and the fact that Baby Dory is like 50% eyes.
Yeah.
And
that was the
rest cuteness.
That was a great artistic choice, because you could really see the change in the emotion as the memories left her, which was really, really good. But also, it gave us an excuse for why she has short-term memory loss, because she doesn't have any room for the rest of her brain in her head because of those eyes. They're just too big. It's impossible.
But she remembers all this shit from the museum, though.
Yeah, somewhere deep in the back. She has short-term memory loss.
I know.
She doesn't have long-term
But
memory loss.
she obviously remembers things. So there's a brain in there.
Yeah.
It's not all eyes.
Yeah. No,
but it's adorable.
It's not all eyes. There's just not room for, like, the rest of it that remembers things that just happened. Which is sad.
But, yeah, it's a very sad movie. And, like, I heard people...
But there's also just a fantastic adventure going on while all that sadness is happening.
Yeah.
And it pulls you out of the sad moments at just the right time and brings you back to the fantastic adventure that's going on through the aquarium.
Mm-hmm.
And there's so many tense moments in that adventure that you're like, how are they going to get out of this one?
Yeah.
Like, what's going to happen next? And I felt like a little kid. Like, oh my God! How could they ever
How will they get out of this mess? Tune in next week.
Yeah, and I'm just like, how is this going to happen? How is everything going to work out okay? And like, back in the back of my head, adult me is like, shut up, idiot. Of course it is, but I'm just up here like, what's gonna happen though?
Like the one critique that I've heard people say about this movie that like at the end it gets a little bit too ridiculous.
Yeah, it does.
But here's my thing. Here is my thing. Pixar knows that because they literally jumped the shark.
Yeah. You are.
So, for all the people who are like, that was too ridiculous, like, we know!
And if you...
They knew! They put it for you!
And we're not gonna...
I'm not gonna say anything else, but they literally jumped the shark.
Yeah, you'll know if you've seen it. But yeah, it's... Yeah, it got a little too ridiculous there at the end, but it's so cool.
It got very over the edge.
Yeah, it got real weird at the end, but so does Toy Story.
Yeah.
Like, Toy Story gets real strange at the end of the first one. And even the...
Falling with style.
And even the third one a little bit. Like... But, like... Because how did the little green men hijack the crane? How did they figure out where they were?
The cloud.
How did they figure out exactly where they were? And how did they figure out how to work it? Like, there are so many unknown...
Deus Ex Machina.
Yeah, and there's so much unknown going on in Pixar movies. You just kind of have to sit down and go along for the ride.
Yeah.
Because the greater story that they are telling is incredible.
Uh-huh.
And Finding Dory is absolutely no exception. I love this movie more than I like Finding Nemo. Mm-hmm. And that's a bold statement, and I am fully aware how bold that statement is. Mm-hmm. But it is absolutely true. I believe that this is, on every level, a better film, a better story, and a more emotional ride than Finding Nemo ever will be.
And I think it's also because in this one
it comes close to the beginning of Up.
Well,
that's a bolder statement.
Yeah, that's very bold, but I think the reason why
I'm confident in it.
I think the reason why this one feels like it hit harder was also like, and it is a better movie to relate to for everybody, is because like a lot more people either have or know somebody who has like memory issues with either Alzheimer's or that, than somebody who's got like a gimp arm or leg.
Yeah.
And I think that hits harder because those people can overcome those, but people with the memory issues, not a lot can get through all of that.
Yeah.
And so, like, it brings you further into the emotional clutch.
Yeah, and I never dreamed that a story centered around Dory. Like, I never thought about it that hard, but now that I do think about it, I'm like, of course it was that heart-wrenching. Mm-hmm. Like, of course it was.
Of course!
But I'm just... Because she's such a fun character, mm-hmm. and she is so funny, and she's Ellen DeGeneres, for Christ's sakes.
Yeah, like they're like, yeah, there's no way that this like happy-go-lucky character through any situation you have a tragic backstory. Oh,
but if you really think about what her character was, of course she did.
Yeah, like, of course.
Like there's no way around it. Like, of course it happened that way. And, like, usually when you center a movie around the plucky comic relief character, you get a mess. Mm-hmm. Like, Cars 2 and Kronk's New Groove, and
That one's okay.
no, it's not.
It's okay.
Okay, fine.
It's not good, but it's not that bad. It's okay.
It's just there's something about
It doesn't reach anywhere close to Emperor's New Groove.
yeah, but there's something about who Dory is, what Dory struggles with, what Dory's backstory could have been, and what they figured out that it was.
Her backstory.
I know, but what they figured out that it was, and just when I talk about the beginning of Up, I'm not almost driven to tears. When I talk about the end of Toy Story 3, there's a little bit, but not quite. But here, just talking about Finding Dory, I am on the verge. And that's something truly exceptional.
Yeah.
Like, I think Finding Dory is going to be one of the greatest animated films of all time. It's not my favorite. It's not even my favorite of this year. But it is so high up there and so incredible as a thing. And if Finding Nemo was your Pixar movie, is your Pixar movie, this is going to kick you in the stomach like nothing ever has, and you're going to want more of it. And it's just great.
Let me also just say that the music in Finding Dory
For sure.
is fantastic.
Yeah.
Because like I stayed in the theater listening to the music.
Get that after the credits scene?
Yeah, I got that. my dad, Amber Delaney, went to go and see it like that morning, and I saw it later that night. And I told him that there was an after credit scene, and he was like, "What? There was
It's a Disney movie. Of course there was. Of
Yeah.
course.
I wasn't expecting it, but I was just in there.
Well,
the cleaning crew came in, and I'm like, "Oh, someone's still in here." And they went back out.
Me and my mom always wait for the credits, even when it's a movie that obviously won't have one, but
Yeah,
it was gonna have one.
yeah, the music in it is just.
I think
so
Finding
beautiful.
Nemo had one.
Yeah, it was them getting over.
Yeah. Now what?
We admit it. Now what? But go and watch this movie and see the after credit stuff. And
Yeah.
It's
Definitely a 6 from me. Like,
Yeah.
stellar, absolutely incredible, must see, badass seal of approval, all that stuff. Like, it's
TrebleChin's out of 6.
it's just a really, really good movie. Like, I'm not gonna say it's my favorite animated movie, because it's not. I'm not gonna say that it's Pixar's best, because it's not. It's damn close, but it's not. And I'm not gonna say that it's the best animated movie of the year so far, because it's not quite. But it is, in what it is just astounding what it is.
Yeah, it's because like I saw this movie,
And it knew it was a small thing. Like, you can tell by the way it was written, the way it was crafted, what it's about, what it is, that it was a small love project. Like, it was a small project that, and not a large scale thing like something like Inside Out or Zootopia, or
kind of like The Good Dinosaur.
yeah, it was like The Good Dinosaur, but eons better. Like, I love The Good Dinosaur.
Well, I mean, it's a love project like The Good Dinosaur was.
Yeah, for sure, because
they've been working on this thing for years.
Yeah, The Good Dinosaur was definitely a love project, because I saw that little message from the director before I watched The Good Dinosaur, which I saw that movie by myself. But that movie was just so much something that director wanted to make.
Yeah.
Like, he wanted to capture that kind of emotion that he remembered seeing with his mother that defied language barriers. And he wanted to make a film about a bond and a love that defied language barriers. And he did that in spades.
That's kind of something that we're needing about now.
Yeah. And
if you've been seeing the news,
he made that movie.
There.
He made the hell out of that movie that he wanted to make. And I feel like Finding Dory is that kind of movie that set out to do one thing and one thing only. Tell you the story of a character that the writers of Finding Nemo truly loved. Mm-hmm. It wasn't about making a movie based on a character that the audience loved, like what Cars 2 was. Because Cars 2 was just centered around Mater for the sake of being centered around Mater. That's all it was.
Yeah.
But this movie is written by people who wanted to explore an interesting and deep character in just an incredibly magical way, and they did that so perfectly.
Yeah.
And that is why it gets a 6 out of 6. And I'm not gonna tell you it's something that it's not, but what it is a hell of a movie.
Mm-hmm.
And that's my thing.
Yeah. I think that'll do it for this video. Go and watch this movie, please.
Immediately.
It is beautiful, and it deserves your attention.
Yeah.
So,
I think it might be my second favorite Pixar movie.
Really?
Yeah, I think
first?
Like, Toy Story 3 is probably my first one.
Mm-hmm.
Which it was Toy Story 1, but I think now it's Toy Story 3.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Finding Dory's up there. It's close, and then Inside Out, then Toy Story 1, then Up, then WALL-E, then The Good Dinosaur. I'll do it. That's another
We'll
video.
do a list later.
That's another video to be made, but yeah.
So, thank you guys for watching. If you like this video, like, share, subscribe on the Facebook, and comment on the YouTube section below.
And definitely see Finding Dory, whether you're into Finding Nemo or not, whether you're into animated movies or not. If you know somebody who struggles with this kind of thing,
mm-hmm.
or if you know someone who struggles with this kind of thing, it's going to punch you in the feels.
Yeah.
Real bad, real good, all those things.
It's going to punch you in your chest cavity, reach deep within, and pull the bottom part of your heart out.
Yeah, it's an astonishing film.
That's the part that gets most of the blood.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Take it easy, guys.
Goodbye.